Alright y'all, welcome back to the channel and to some more slug testing, and today I've got a combo that I am really excited to try out. I've got some high hopes for it. I have tested these slugs before in a different setup and they did rather impressively good. So if they can repeat that performance through today's setup, that would be fantastic. But as for the slugs I've got today, I brought out some of these. The Brenneke USA Classic Magnum slugs. They are a 12 gauge, 2 3/4 inch, 1 1/8 ounce slug, and the back of the box says they're moving at about 1510 from the muzzle, and it does claim up here that we should be getting a 1.6 inch group at 50 yards. So like I just mentioned, I've got some high hopes for these. I have tested these previously through a rifled barrel and they were rather impressive, that's for sure. I'll leave that video up here above if you have not seen it and would like to go check it out. But at 100 yards, I think these were in the 2.5 inch group size range or so, right about there. If they can repeat that or even get better than that from today's combo, then I'd be pretty happy. I know these have good potential. As you can see, the tail wad design on this is a little different than a lot of the other Brenneke loads. It's like a fiber cushion piece. That may actually help make them a little more consistent than the other tail wad design that Brenneke has. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what these can do, since I know we've got some good potential here. As for the shotgun we're going to be running them in, I brought out my Remington 870. The last time I tested those through a rifle barrel, it was also an 870, a different one to this, but this one is a smooth bore. It's got a 24-inch smooth bore barrel on it. We're going to be running an improved cylinder for a choke, which should give us some nice looking results if they do well through a smooth bore. Nothing fancy about this 870 at all. Up on top is a Hawk Vantage IR 3-9x40 with the slug gun muzzleloader reticle in it. Very nice scope for the money, but for those curious, yes, we do have a receiver mounted scope. The barrel is not pinned. Everything is held tension wise by the magazine cap, which is hand tight with 3 additional clicks, and I've scored marks on here as well on everything so we can see if anything comes loose or changes our barrel tension. So far it's been flawless, so I expect nothing different here. So we'll see what the Classic Magnum Brennekes can do through a smooth bore today. As for today's test, we're going to run it the same as we usually do. We're going to shoot 2 groups, one at 50 and another at 100. It's not a perfect test, but it will at least give us a reference point to if this is a good performing combo at all. All of our shots will be through the chrono as well, so we can get our velocity. So let's get you guys to view those targets, start shooting some groups, and seeing if my high expectations are actually able to be met here with this combo. In theory, we should see some good results, but we don't know until we try it. So let's take our shots and see what we get. Okay, so let's run through our velocities real quick before we look at our target. I apologize for the glare. There's just really no good spot today with how the sun is shining. But the boss claim is 1510. We didn't quite see that number from our 24-inch barrel, but that isn't too surprising. Factory probably ran them through a 28, I would imagine. But for the high, we had 1490. For the low, we had 1437. That gave us an average of 1458, so 52 feet per second below their claim on average. That does make sense considering our 24-inch barrel, with an extreme spread of 53 and a standard deviation of 17. So at an average of 1458, here are your muzzle energies. That's plenty good enough for your average deer hunt scenario or whatever you would want to use these for. So looking perfectly fine there for a velocity. But let's go check out our target, because I think we saw a little different story over there. Okay, well, here's our target. This is not at all what I expected to see out of these. It is pretty disappointing to say the least. Again, I have tested these previously through a rifled 870. We were getting 2-inch groups at 100 yards from that combo, and that is not at all what we saw here from this one. And before somebody asked or questions about it in the comments, I did check the shotgun. Everything is just fine. The choke is tight, the scope is tight, the rings, the rail, the magazine cap for the tension on the barrel, all of it it's perfectly fine. Nothing I'm concerned with there. I felt good about all of my trigger pulls. I'm very confident on an 870 as far as shooting groups like this goes. So this just did not perform how I thought it would. Not even close. We'll start over here on the left with our first 3 shots at 50 yards. Is it minute of deer? Sure. Is it anything good? Absolutely not. We have stacked them just about in the same hole over and over with that gun and different slugs, and this is not even close to that kind of performance. And it kind of looks deceiving on camera, but all of our bullet holes were straight. Everything was flying stable, so that is not an issue either. At 50 yards, we had 3.61, and that's even worse than what we were getting at 100 yards with the rifled barrel. So that is not at all what I want to see. And that trend definitely continued moving over to our 100-yard target. We had these two and this guy. Little bit of back and forth here, but overall, I think size-wise, it's pretty comparable. Going from 3.5 to this, that's probably about right, unfortunately. And I had to get the tape measure out for that, but from center to center on the farthest two across, that's about 9 inches. So maybe a little bit of a flyer over here compared to, the size comparison between the two groups, but we already started off bad at 50 with that combo. So I didn't expect it to get any better out at 100, unfortunately. So I don't know what went wrong here. Maybe those slugs like the rifling to stabilize them a little bit better, although all of these were punching straight holes through the paper, so they were flying stable, but maybe they had a little bit of wobble in their track flying down range. I don't know. I don't have a slow-mo camera to prove that or not, so maybe the rifling helps tune that in a little bit more. I don't know. Maybe we run these through a rifle choke now and see what happens. If that clearly improves them, then that just might be the ticket. These are designed for smoothbore and rifled barrels as per what the box claims, so I don't know. Maybe that little fiber tail wad piece design on this just isn't as friendly to smoothbores as it is to rifled barrels. It's a possibility, I suppose, but that is not at all what I was expecting. I had really high expectations coming into it, and we got about the opposite, that's for sure. But that's why you test things, because sometimes the results don't meet what you're expecting them to. Alright y'all, well, what did you think about that performance right there? A little bit unfortunate for those results, that's for sure. I had way higher expectations coming into it, and I've proven it on video for you guys with a rifled barrel, that those do perform very nicely. Like I just mentioned, they might really prefer rifling. I don't know. We're gonna have to run these through a rifle choke from a smoothbore and see if it makes any improvement. If that little bit of rifling can make a drastic improvement, then there's probably a good chance that that's a better route to go with these classic Magnums. They did surprisingly well through a rifled barrel, better than a lot of Sabo slugs do through that same setup. So I had much higher expectations for it than those kind of results, that's for sure. Is it minute of deer out to 100 yards? Sure, but it's not the kind of accuracy that I would prefer. In my slug guns, I like to see 3 inches or better out to 100 personally anyway. I know that shotgun is plenty capable of doing it. We have seen it with a couple different slugs now, so clearly this combo just isn't it. I already checked everything again with the actual shotgun. I felt good about the shots. So that is just kind of the legitimate results that we got. The barrel never got hot or anything like that. So it is what it is, unfortunately. That's why you test a bunch of different things, because sometimes it's going to work, sometimes it isn't. But I'm definitely pretty disappointed in Brenneke on that kind of performance, that's for sure. But leave all your thoughts down below. Is it about what you expected to see? Were you a little surprised one way or the other? Have you tested any of the Brenneke Classic Magnum slugs? And if so, what kind of results have you seen? Is that a result you would ever take out on a hunt? Or is it just a little bit too all over the place and too broad of a spread for you? And maybe what other combos do you want to see me run those classic Magnums through? Rifle choke, maybe a little tighter choke constriction, or anything like that? Let me know what you want to see down below. But with that being said, I've got some more testing to get done for you guys, so I'm going to get back to it. As always, we have the channel Instagram as well as the mailbox where you can send stuff if you'd like. All the information will be in the description if you're interested in it, but I'm going to get back to it, so I'll see y'all in the next one.